Hello, everyone. I am so excited to bring you this video today. We are talking about Pinterest plus funnels. So, as y'all know, I'm Alicia. I am a funnel strategist and I am your funnel strategist. And we are here to make funnels as easy as possible. And one of the things that I want to make easy for people is feeding their funnel. So, I am gone out and I have found an expert who takes care of the strategy needed to pull people into your funnel using a platform called Pinterest. Now, before you click out, I want you to know that Pinterest, if you have an online business, if you are an e-commerce store, if you are an author, if you are a blogger, if you are anything in the online space, Pinterest is for you. And my guest today is going to tell you exactly why. So let me introduce her. This is Taryn. Taryn, please, if you can give us a little bit more information about yourself, introduce yourself out here to the world.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked to talk about this. I could probably talk about Pinterest all day. Hello, howdy from Texas. I am Taryn LaRue, and I run a digital marketing agency that specializes in all things Pinterest, and specifically helping established service providers and coaches leverage this platform to bring in not only massive visibility, but also making sure that we're converting that traffic into lifelong clients with good old fashioned funnels.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. So
Yeah.
tell us, what is Pinterest?
So Pinterest is like this totally misunderstood platform, right?
Mhm.
Everybody thinks it's social media because it gets lumped in with all the social media platforms. And it definitely has features of social media, like you can DM people and engage on some pins, like leave reacts. But it is actually a search engine,
Okay.
and they like to call themselves a visual discovery engine. So it goes beyond just performing searches and queries and looking for answers. They actually take that information and then serve you up new ideas that cater to your previous requests.
Nice. So I love that you make the distinction between social media and a non-social media platform that just happens to be online. And for example, YouTube is a search engine that has video format. So I love that you talk about that. So my next question for you is, why is it important for business owners, authors, bloggers, all the things, for them to distinguish between their social media platforms and their non-social media platforms?
So I love that you bring up all these other niches that can work on Pinterest because so many people think that it's just for bloggers.
Right.
But because Pinterest is like what you'd call the top of funnel,
Mhm.
it's designed to bring you visibility. It can work for loads of niches out there. You just have to have somewhere to direct the traffic back to that's preferably not your social media. We want it to be something that's everlasting and kind of like legacy content.
Mhm.
And to be honest, a lot of times that does look like a blog, or it could look like your YouTube
Mhm.
being repurposed into blog style format.
Nice. So I can already hear the girlies screaming in my ear. That's cool and all, but I'm trying to make money today. How can Pinterest help me make money today?
That's a great question because it's like any other platform out there, like
Mhm.
it takes time to start compounding and making big results. And specifically being a search engine, it takes Pinterest like 3 to 6 months to index your content and figure
Mhm.
out, oh, that's the keyword that goes with this pin. So when somebody searches for that keyword, I'm going to show them that pin that you designed. And obviously, we don't want to wait like 3 to 6 months. And it looks like things move at like a snail's pace when you try to track your notifications on Pinterest. One of the ways that I've combated this with my clients is to actually utilize promoted pins,
Okay.
which is just the ads on Pinterest. And it's stupid cheap compared to running ads on social media. You get a lower cost per click as well compared to traditional social media and Google ads, which can be very expensive. And you get to target people by the same sorts of keywords that you're already trying to rank for. So that is probably one of the best ways to get an instant injection of traffic.
Awesome. So I can also hear the girlie screaming like, "Ugh, yet another platform that I have to learn, that I have to master." So without me wanting to oversimplify this, because I don't like it when people oversimplify things because then they don't understand, they miss the work that goes into something. But in a nutshell, what is a typical pathway or typical thing that happens through Pinterest and bringing them, let's say I want to bring them to my blog. What's a typical pathway for that?
So getting in the mindset of a Pinterest user, typically they open up the app or the website with a specific query, a specific intent. And so they already know not just what's for dinner, but like people go there for all sorts of things looking for human design, journal prompts. They're looking for how to streamline their automations. People go there for all sorts of things. And so if you can first understand what they're thinking,
Mhm.
you're going to be able to get in front of them when they're searching for that term, that phrase.
Okay.
They're going to be presented with like a sea of images. And each image typically has some text on it that gives you a glimpse into what you might find if you click over to get to the link that it brings you back to.
Mhm.
Most of the time, that's a blog post. And then your blog is going to be like, here are the answers. This is what you were looking for.
Mhm.
And then your website gets to do the heavy lifting for you and bringing them into your email list or presenting them with a paid offer that
Mhm.
coincides with exactly what they were looking for so that it becomes this no brainer. Yes, I need it right here, right now. Like, how did you know that's what I needed?
Right.
And then obviously, once they're in your list, your funnel keeps picking up the magic.
Awesome. So so you've already brought up the word funnel. So what do you tell your people about funnels?
So I typically consider a funnel like having multiple offers to bring people into, and that it doesn't stop once
Mhm.
they get on your email list,
Mhm.
and you have to have the next solutions for them. And in my world that looks like evergreen funnels, because these sorts of people are looking for answers right away. They want some
Mhm.
sort of instant gratification. They don't want to get on a call with you, and they
Mhm.
don't want to wait for you to open up the doors for your group program or your one
Mhm.
on one or your next launch. They want answers now. And so, if you can have a suite that leads them from one step to the next step, and you're giving these micro transformations at
Mhm.
each point, you've just created a lifelong client.
Awesome. So when it comes to like different platforms like Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things, right? That platform has a culture. And so there are certain behaviors that that platform and those users of that platform are going to have. So the best way I describe it is it's kind of like, well, before Elon Musk bought Twitter, it was almost like Twitter and Instagram. What was on Twitter, driving people nuts, and it was a big thing and it was a big debate and it was people going back and forth. On Instagram, people weren't really that hyped up about it. Right. So even though you might have an account on Twitter and you have an account on Instagram and you're on both, you notice that the culture on Instagram, they're like, keep that over there. We don't really care. So how would you describe the culture of Pinterest in
Oh, that's a good
comparison
question.
to social media?
I I typically kind of call the Pinterest users more introverted.
Mhm.
It might not be 100% true, but the way that they're thinking is kind of like I have to find answers, and I don't want to ask on social media because that would be too too
Mhm,
involved to get other
mhm,
people to answer, where you could just go search it up and find multiple blog posts that give you different angles
okay.
very quickly. And again, people don't want to hop on a call, so that's another reason why I know that they're a little more introverted over there. Um, the good thing about Pinterest, though, is that people are also shopping there. So they're
Mm,
planning for future things. In fact, Pinterest prides itself on being this platform where you can like discover yourself based on the ideas that you find and you want to, improve different areas of your life with.
okay. So now I'm just kind of internalizing this and I'm thinking about it for myself. So let's just say I'm a funnel strategist and I'm like, I probably want to give Pinterest a try. What type of pins would I even create?
So the very first thing you have to do before you get onto Pinterest is make sure that people are searching for your niche there. Like I
Mm-hmm,
said, it does encompass loads of different niches, not just bloggers and health and all that stuff you typically see.
mm-hmm,
Um, and the easiest way to do that is to just open up Pinterest and type in like a short keyword like funnels.
mm-hmm,
You might try automations,
mm-hmm,
things like that, that you can spin it a little bit differently. And once you know that people are there for what you have to offer, then you want to be able to drive traffic back to various entry points. And so that might look like your blog, it could look like your podcast, and you can flip your podcast to look like a blog too, which is really nifty.
right.
Or you can bring people straight back to your landing pages for getting into your offers. Because again, they're in that mindset that they have a problem they already are aware of that they want to solve. And when you come up with a solution and you're like, here it is right here, you can have it,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, yes, please.
Okay. So yeah, so it's so weird because like you said, it's about the consumer, right? So being someone who's on Pinterest as a consumer, it's so funny. Me personally, I'm not on there looking for business stuff. I'm on there looking at, like you said, I love how you said, planning something, thinking about something in the future, like you're trying to design something. So I'm either looking for hairstyles or I'm looking for outfits or I'm looking for home decor. I'm looking for inspiration. And I
Mhm.
think maybe that's the reason why a lot of people who have coaching based businesses, service based businesses. Maybe they just wrote a book, and it's not really a fiction book. Maybe it's a nonfiction book, and they're like, "Well, I don't really buy on Pinterest unless I'm shopping for drapes or knickknacks for the house. What? Why would I even be on there?" But I love that you said, "Well, before you decide to start creating content for Pinterest, see if there are people who are in your niche, around your topic, things like that, because you might be entered into a whole new world that you never thought existed on Pinterest." So, what would you say to that person who is, I don't really know if I can use Pinterest like that because I don't have like my stuff isn't inspiring.
So it really does come down to knowing if there are searches happening there because it's such an underutilized platform that if people are already going there to look for answers, like I have people tell me all the time that Pinterest is their Google. So even though you might not use it or you might not think to use it for that query,
Hmm.
people still are going there. Like when I very first started my business, before I got into Pinterest, I wasn't on social media at all, and I was only on Pinterest.
Okay.
And I found out how to start a website design business, how to streamline and automate and create all my processes because somebody laid these instructions out for me and I bought into some of their programs because it just took me that step further. Like I knew the baseline,
Hmm.
and that's really the mindset that you have to be in, is like understanding that they're looking for something, and if you can answer that, you can be that no-brainer next step for your solutions.
Mm,
Whether that's a book or it's a program or it's just getting into your email list.
hmm. Okay. So with that being said, are there third party softwares that can be used to help with searches like that for on Pinterest? Like I know for YouTube, you can get YouTube Buddy, and YouTube Buddy offers you a way more analytics and insight on a person's page, how many views they're getting per video, how much money they're making per video, and just like helping you with keywords. Da da da. Does Pinterest have something like that as well?
So I wish they had something that told you like how many visits the pins were getting.
Mm,
They do have stuff that help you with keywords. There's an app called Pin Clicks that's
okay.
fairly new, and it will give you an insight into trending pins as well as what pins are ranking for, or which keywords they're ranking for.
Mhm.
But my go-to method is to actually go into the back end of Pinterest. You can run a mock campaign, and you're going to be able to view the monthly searches happening for that specific keyword so that you're not guessing
Right.
or thinking that it's a good keyword. You have the data to back it up.
Nice. I love when people give me little hacks like that. That's cute. I love that. Okay, that's a really good idea. Okay, so with that being said, so I know you also have some questions for me about funnels. If you have anything, let me know.
Okay, so one of the big things that my clients come to me for is because they've already got their funnel set up.
Mhm,
They're already bringing people into their email list and they just want to get more traffic.
mhm.
And unfortunately, more traffic doesn't always equal better conversion rates.
Right.
So I'm curious, when you increase the traffic, what are some of your best tips for testing funnels to improve that conversion rate?
Yeah, so I think right before I could fully answer that question, I have to make sure that we're all in alignment of a funnel and what I mean by a funnel. Okay. So there are a variety of different types of funnels, and all funnels are not email funnels. There are web page funnels as well. So could you drive traffic to a web-based funnel? You really could. Could you drive traffic to just your stereotypical opt-in and then now you're in a kind of like segmentation automation type sequence? Yes, you could as well, or a hybrid of both. So when it comes to conversion, it's the thing that you have to control, and only you can control it, is you have to know that you are already talking to your avatar. Sometimes what happens is we create content for content's sake, and we're just kind of talking to everybody. So, case in point, I could sit here and I can write a blog about um three features of an email marketing funnel, right? I can talk about your welcome sequence, I can talk about your nurture sequence, I can talk about a sales sequence. But my avatar, who has already made six figures in their business, they have been doing this for 5+ years. They're not interested in a basic, boring content like that. So why would I push traffic towards something for a person who's not going to buy my top, potentially be a candidate for my top tier funnel package that's building case study funnels, that's building, evergreen work webinar funnels, like all of these things, because those things have already been validated from them. It's a webinar that they already know works. They just want to make it evergreen. So you can't just make content for content's sake. It has to be making sure that the content is directed to your person. So your blogs, even your opt-ins that you choose, even the live events that you're doing, they have to be tailored to your avatar. So that's really the main thing. When you start to drive traffic over there, how you're able to test is because you're going to have things from different places. right? Different places. The easiest way to do that, if you're going to do an opt-in format, is you need multiple landing pages, and each landing page you know where that traffic comes from, right? So typically, depending on what system that you're using, when they opt in on that landing page, you can automatically assign them a tag. And then when they get into the email list, the tag is already there. So, and does this work for every platform? It does not. So you have to make sure that your system is capable of doing it. But let's just say you have three different landing pages for the same opt-in. You still send them to the same thank you page, but it's the opt-in page where you know where they came from. So this one's for Pinterest, this one's for Instagram, this one is for when I was on a live stream or when I was on somebody else's podcast platform, right? So you can see where the traffic is. And it's automatically tagging those people that opt in on those pages. So now, after maybe like a week, 2 weeks, 30 days is really what you want. After 30 days, you look and see where's majority of the traffic was coming from. So that's one, where the majority of the traffic is coming from. And two, you want to see, okay, well, if I'm putting it up for Pinterest and I got more people coming in from my Instagram, that tells me that not enough of my actual avatar is seeing my pins. So now you get to decide, well, was it the pin itself? Was I actually talking to that avatar on the pin, or was I just being generic? So there's some data in that regard, but when you're testing, everything has to be the same. If you change one thing, you have to change it on all of them so that you can keep track of what's attracting people.
Okay, so your biggest suggestion is to get more traffic to make sure that that traffic is talking directly to your audience, and you keep so just so I'm clear, your landing pages are just duplicates,
Mhm.
right? You're not A/B testing them. You're just creating duplicates so that it's crystal clear that that landing page goes to Instagram and that landing page goes to podcast interviews, right?
So it depends on people's system because everybody's system does not do A/B testing. So a workaround is just duplicate the page. So if your system does allow A/B testing, do A/B testing because it's a little you don't have to duplicate so many pages. But if you can't, that's kind of like a back end hack.
But what you were just saying, your multiple landing pages for multiple places, they're all exactly the same, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. I love that. It makes it easy to figure out because that's definitely been questions I've had in the past. Like, well, how do I know that it came from here? And it's like, that's how.
Hmm. Exactly.
Awesome. No, I'm also curious because you work with people who are like going evergreen. You mentioned
Hmm.
what would you say that you actually need to start a funnel?
So many elements. Let me narrow them down to three. So there's three things that I feel like you need. One, you have to have validated content. The opt in, you have to know that the opt in works already. And how do you verify that? You just make random posts and people sign up for them. It's not part of a strategy. I'm just going to post directly to social media about this. I'm going to post it in groups. I'm going to send out my email. I'm going to send you're just doing a regular, push for it and seeing if people are downloading it. If no one is downloading it after 2 weeks of you promoting it, putting it in people's ear, putting it in front of their face, then that lets you know that there's something needs to change. And that doesn't mean throw the whole thing away, but you
Right.
might need to adjust the title. You might need to adjust the things. And there's other things that you have to test too, right? Maybe there are coming, but they're not converting. So you see the traffic on the landing page, but they're not converting. So there's something on the landing page that's the issue. But if they're not even coming to the page, then there's still some other factors to it. It might just be what's been going on with your algorithm. Have people already been engaging with you? Maybe it's not the freebie. Maybe you just have an algorithm problem. So you have to break things down piece by piece. So that's one. The other thing that I would say is you want to make sure that you already have a client language. The only way you're going to know your client language is that you already have worked with these people. It's because what you don't want to do is you just don't want to be making things up. I don't advise people who are new to get a funnel. If you're new in business, and how do I describe new in business? I mean, you still have to put skin in the game, less than a year, and you haven't worked with at least 5 clients. Those 5 clients in the span of a year, not over time, in the span of a year, at least 5 clients that you've gotten them a result, they've given you a testimonial, and you can start to identify the common characteristics of each person, and you know how they talk. How they talk is how you're going to put it in your funnel. And again, the funnel can be email based or it can be web based, but you still have to sound like your avatar. And then 3, I would say you're trying to sell something, or let me back up. You may not be trying to sell something. Know what you need that funnel for. I probably should have led with that one. Know what you need the funnel for. What is the point of the funnel? If you are a coach, you don't need a sales funnel per se. You might need a book a call funnel because the sale happens on the call.
Mm-hmm.
So you need your funnel to push people to getting a call. So what you're selling is not your offer. You're selling what you do in general and for them to book a call with you. This is why you need to know what is your funnel for. Also, you don't need a really long funnel. You can have a short funnel. So maybe the next step for them is a live masterclass. So you're creating a funnel that's just to push them to the masterclass. So those are my 3 elements.
Okay, awesome. I love that you called out like the verbiage because it's so important to talk to that specific
Mhm.
person because yeah, I think we've all been there. Like you talk to everybody at first and then
Mhm.
you can develop who you actually want
Right.
to be talking to or who gets the best results. So that that's perfect. And I also feel like knowing that kind of verbiage and seeing those kind of overlaps allows you to create more offers that cater to different hurdles that they're
Mhm.
commonly coming up against.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, I'm looking to see if I have any other questions written
Sure.
here. Um, I don't have other questions, but I had a note from our last call.
Sure.
It says, how is 2018 Pinterest different than 2024 Pinterest? That you didn't ask me.
Yes. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to answer that, please. How is 2018 Pinterest different from 2024 Pinterest heading into 2025 Pinterest?
So in all honesty, Pinterest hasn't changed that drastically.
Mhm.
There are some things that have developed over time. Back in 2019, they went public. And so the need for ads or promoted pins became a
Okay.
lot more relevant. And you're definitely seeing a lot more ads in your feed today. And so utilizing promoted pins alongside an organic strategy is highly recommended for quick growth and long term growth.
Mhm.
But overall, it still operates the same. You still have to figure out what keywords people are searching for,
Mhm.
and you have to create content that leads them back to the answer to those keywords and
Yeah.
do so consistently. That's about it.
Yeah. And if you and I think if you understand SEO, I think this is what makes what you called it a search engine true to form. Whether you're on YouTube, because again, YouTube is a search engine because it is owned by Google, which also is a search engine. So if you're searching for something, then they might recommend a blog, they might recommend a website, or they might recommend a YouTube video.
Sometimes Google recommends Pinterest pages too,
Wow.
like on the first page. So you're just killing two birds with one stone by showing you up there.
See? And the reason why I brought that up is that because even if you are a blogger as well, the thing that we keep forgetting about is SEO optimization, search engine optimization. And so all of the platforms that we just talked about, they're for search engine. So the primary common denominator is keywords. You
Mhm.
have to know the keywords for your niche. You have to. So in your mind, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Do not stop. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200 until you do this. Where does keywords rank when it comes to having a viable Pinterest strategy?
Yeah, definitely 10.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
not going to get very far if you are just throwing spaghetti at the wall, as they say. But the verbiage that you talked about, understanding how your clients are actually talking, plays into that because they're
Mhm.
often searching for it that way too. And you can start with YouTube, you can start with Google, and you can borrow those keywords to see if they're searching for it in the same way on Pinterest.
That's good to know. Because I mean, even back, I think Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will stick around till next week for part two. This was part one. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, always leave them in the comment section. I would love to interact with you and answer any questions that you have about funnels. So I hope to see you next time.